Yo, what is up, everybody? It's Leon Josh back with another episode of 713 Football, man. First of all, man, thank y'all for watching this. Whenever you do watch it, I know this is an impromptu live stream. I am going out of town tomorrow to Tennessee to watch the Texans play this weekend and just have a good time. My birthday's coming up. Going to be looking to have, some fun in Tennessee and Nashville. I've heard a lot of great things about it. Man, Josh, how are you feeling leading up into this game? How have you been this season so far, man?
Man, feeling a lot better than I did at the beginning of that fourth quarter last week, right? A hell of a lot better than I would have felt going into this game if we had lost that. But yeah, feeling good, feeling great. Can't complain, man. I love it, love it. Mills mania, you know.
Mills Mania is back again, man. I mean, what a first of all, what a great game. I was at that game. One really a historic, comeback for the Texans, man. Like how much was it? Like 19 or 26 straight points in the fourth quarter
Right.
to close the game up. We finished on a 26-0 run. With the defensive touchdown to finish the game off, man. I mean, just a phenomenal performance from the defense again. With the Rocky start from the special teams, giving Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars the ball in some really, tough situations for the defense. But they really stayed strong and created turnovers. And Danielle Hunter created a lot of pressure. Will Anderson as well. I mean, but what more can we say about Davis Mills, man? I mean, leading the game-winning drive, a 93-yard drive all the way down the field, man, and finishing with the touchdown run, man. Extremely happy for him, man. He's been going through a lot as a, quarterback here in the Texan. So, I mean, more props to him. And it seems like as of right now, he's going to be starting. Now, Josh, we know going against the Titans is, although their record is bad, they have a couple, really big issues up front, man, with my bad, these dogs are just going crazy. I don't know if y'all can hear them, but Jesus
It's
Christ.
yeah, it's the dogs. We're about to let off the chain to attack these Tennessee Titans.
Right.
They're
Right.
vibing with us right now.
Yeah, man. But bro, like, let's talk about Sweat and Simmons. I mean, here's the thing. I mean, if they can control this game, I mean, if they can really, stop us from running the ball and create a lot of interior pressure, man. I mean, what you know, the odds of us winning, I mean, go down a little. I want to say dramatically, but try not to be dramatic anyway, for lack of better words, man. What do you think about them? The matchup between our interior line and them.
It's funny, man, because going into this game, you think, okay, we just got to get the ball out quick, got to find ways to get the ball out of Mills's hands, kind of matriculate the ball down the field, just attack, right? And find ways to maintain the tempo where they're not able to get us in passing situations. Well, it kind of played out exactly like that. And the fact is, the Jags were that kind of team, right? They thrived in situations where they forced you to hold on the ball, and we were able to take advantage of it, right? Like Mills knows exactly how he has to play, and we're going to face a team that has to play a lot of zone, and we're a team right now with Davis Mills who absolutely just killed it against zone last week. 24-35 against zone, 273. Both of his touchdowns came against zone, and he was absolute dog water against man, like 3 of 10 for 19 yards and a pick, right? So, and he scrambled twice to put him up ahead. I think that was against man, so that was just kind of like, we can't expect that. But I think the thing that, and we've talked about this offline, the biggest scare factor facing this Titans team that we didn't have to face last time because one of these dudes was out is having that duo together of Sweat and Simmons. And when they're together, they're a whole different kind of defense. No matter who's playing behind them, they kind of shake the entire game and kind of tilt it in their favor. And we're coming in where our offensive line, we don't know if we're going to have Ed Ingram back. Hopefully we do. It looks like he's limited this in the first injury report, so maybe he'll be coming back. There's some different pieces that we're trying to figure around. If we're going to have to put Patterson out there left guard again, play two centers, that's going to be kind of a rough look against those dudes. But I think that's the biggest concern for me going into this game and looking at their defense and the way that we could potentially be on upset alert is if we don't have a good plan going against those DTs.
Yeah, I mean the goal is always to get the ball out the quarterback's hands fast, and I guess in this one, attack the edges because there's not going to be that much room to do anything up the middle with those two guys that you said, and I mean also like I mean, Simmons is one of the best overall power rushers, not even just interior, rushes in the game. I mean, he has an extreme, amount of power. And I mean, we've seen it in quickness and all that stuff. So it's like I mean, God forbid them feel comfortable moving him around a little bit. I think that we have to make sure that we are efficient on early downs, on run downs, whether we actually run the ball or pass the ball. Attack the edges, get those two big guys in the middle, moving side to side, tire them out, and then just make just get what you can from there. And we have to be good in the red zone. I think last game, as I don't have the numbers in front of me, but we were good in the red zone for the first time in a long time. I mean, Mills made some really tough throws to Schultz. I mean, to Higgins. I mean, shit, Nico. I think caught well. I guess you could say the one handed grab in the corner, right, or like right on the edge of the pylon or whatever. So I mean, just when we get there, when we get down the field, put the pressure on their offense by scoring the football and take the pressure off of our defense. Like, let's not have us have to defend the run the whole game. Let's let our pass rushers do what they do, get after the quarterback, right? So I think that starts on offense, man, just being efficient on the early downs is a key factor for me, and in the red zone, Josh. So I mean, obviously, not to be funny, I mean, and I know that this is a Texans fan podcast, but I mean, should I guess, be okay with shitting on the Titans, but trying to be as, nice as possible to, Texan Cam Ward, um, grew up here, whatever. His dad went to U of H, right? I mean, their offense is pretty terrible. I mean, Brian Callahan recently got fired, I believe, like a couple weeks ago. It seems like all this, the last couple weeks for everyone other than our team has kind of flown together for me. But Callahan is gone. They are in like pretty much desperation mode, right? So, do you feel like there is any threat that they pose to our defense at all?
Yeah, to me, it's some guy. It's the man named DK, right? Like, don't mispronounce his name. He's been the most explosive on their offense recently. He's the one guy that kind of create big plays similar to what they had, and I think more than even on the for them offensively, I think special teams wise is what we really have to come in and really kind of step up because they have way more explosiveness than what we thought going in. I mean, if you were to tell me Parker Washington was going to go off, the guy that really just doesn't have any vertical element to his game, he's like sideline and slants and quick stuff all day, and then as a returner, he's not really that kind of cat, right? But he was able to embarrass us like he did with that return. I think it's a much more of a scare factor coming in against DK. Now the question is how were they coached? I think Jaguars have a way better coaching staff right now. Obviously, you got the head coach fired in Tennessee, but I do think there's some kind of bounce back, and you've seen them kind of rejuvenate their special teams. I think their special teams is probably the best offense right now, and I think our biggest issue if they come in, they basically say, you know what, we're gonna do the one thing that we can guarantee that our quarterback isn't gonna get the piss knocked out of him. Is we're going to run the ball. And if they decide that they're going to run over and over and over again because they just don't want to, no matter what, get their quarterback killed out there with our pass rushers, the way that Daniil Hunter played, I mean, some of these stats for Daniil Hunter were absolutely crazy. And I think that's what they're going to come in as a plan. He had season high 8 pressures, like 3.5 sacks, 28 pass rushes against the Jags, right? So that's a crazy dynamic and number, posting a 28.6 pressure rate. But the crazy part to me is he faced 9 different chip blocks like throughout that game, and he was still able to create that kind of pressure. So I think Jags had a plan for it, and it didn't matter. So I think the next step of that is how you escalate from having a plan and not executing it. And they just sure as shit don't have the talent to do anything better than what the Jags do right now with tackle, right? I think the next level of that is just say, you know what, we're just gonna stay away from it, and we're no matter what happens, everything's gonna be out of his hand really quick. Everything's gonna be draw plays, screen plays, running out under center, like running off a shotgun, just be as diverse in the run game as possible. So I think this is going to be a game where we really have to come out and say, you know what, we're not going to miss tackles for the first time this year. We're going to come out and play a completely clean game tackling, and we're going to keep everything in front of us. We're not making any stupid penalties, any gambles on the secondary. Like, we can go for picks, but there's no reason that we should be trying to jump stuff in this game because they're not going to be able to move the ball down the field in those consistently. So that's kind of how I think it's kind of those weird games where kind of play top down, things that basically used to really frustrate CJ Stroud early in the year, where teams would keep everything in front and kind of compress everything. That's what I think is what we should do coming to this game to really just kind of squeeze the life out of their offense.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Cam Ward's numbers, and for lack of better terms, man, they're sad. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it seems like almost every other game he's having a sub 50% completion percentage, and I don't see why that changes here unless, like you're saying, like we make mistakes. They're not an explosive offense. Their line has struggled. I mean, really, as much or more as ours has for the last 3 years, basically, right? And this is a game that seems kind of unlosable unless we go in there and we play like undisciplined and we give up big plays, which, like you're saying, I mean, in reality, where should these plays come from? Like, if we're giving up big plays, it's like I mean, that'll just be sad to them. I mean, again, like you said, our special teams, which has been a strength throughout, Casario's tenure, I'll say, faltered, I guess, like for the last couple weeks, really. It hasn't been as strong as it once was, So I think this should be a game where, like you say, really, like we have to, even though we have a backup quarterback or whatever, this should be a game where we go in there and it should be a statement game. We should look to shut them out again. And it shouldn't take to the fourth quarter for us to, separate ourselves from them like it did the first time. This is a game that I think we should pretty much win 30 to basically 0, honestly. I mean, I hate to say something like that about another NFL team, but I just think it's no other way to put it. I mean, this most likely probably is the worst team in the NFL right now. And I think that right now we are at the turning point in the season. I mean, if y'all have watched our podcast and our live streams, I mean, this has been a tough year, a tough start to the year for us, right? And for us to be so fortunate to have an opportunity to be 500 after this week, and then to go into Thursday night football against a Bills team that has been struggling on defense, right? This is an opportunity for us to set ourselves up to basically, I think, with another loss of the Chargers or something, it's one of those bottom 7 teams or whatever, right? Like, this is an opportunity for us to basically kind of start inching our way into the playoff race. So I think that we have to be taking this game seriously. Like, this has to be a statement game, no matter who the quarterback is, who the other team is, right? Like, everybody is expecting us to win, but we have to win as dominantly as we beat the Ravens, and I guess you could say, and we beat them pretty dominantly too in the end, but I would like this to be one of those games where we're like, yeah, we are the team that we actually thought that we were coming into the year. You know what I mean? Before we go into the Bills. And I guess the Colts are right after the Bills. I don't have the schedule right in front of me, but we have tough games after that one. And I think, you want to basically set yourself up to be, as in charge of everything as you can be, right? So we got a comment real quick before we move on. Is Davis Mills better than Patrick Mahomes? Mills beat the Jags when Patrick Mahomes couldn't. Brandon, I hope so, man. Listen, I know that CJ will be back this year, right? But let's be honest here. I mean, if Mills was able to, if I had, like, listen, if someone told me Mills was going to quarterback us to a Super Bowl this year on some Nick Foles type shit, I would be happy. I don't give a damn who the quarterback is, So, I don't know, Josh, man. What are you thinking, bro?
Yes, it's funny, man. Like, you don't usually say, all right, we're bringing in the backup quarterback and it's going to help us establish an identity that we then can fold into the starting quarterback coming in. But really, the stuff that Mills did in that second half were all the things that we've kind of hoping that CJ would do consistently, right? All the things of, all right, get the ball downfield versus Nico, right? For Nico. And that's something where it's the first time he caught 7 of 15 for 136 against them. It was the most receiving yards in a game this year. And the thing that was crazy, it was his season most for air yards. He averaged 13.9 air yards in that game, which is not what you think going in with the backup quarterback that you're going to all of a sudden start attacking downfield. But the fact that they're able to do that and then turn around and say, all right, it was good, but the efficiency was even better. 4 or 9 targets were caught for on when 10 or more yards downfield for 111. So that's where the majority of the production came. It wasn't the underneath stuff. So maybe Kaylee learned from that. And it's the best performance he's had 10 or plus yards downfield for Nico since week 4, 2024 against, surprise, the Jags, right? Even though it was a different coaching staff, right? And everything, it's they were able to kind of bring that around. And so I think between that and then on the other side, like with Davis Mills, it's super simple, like what we have to do with Davis Mills. Like no one, like Ray Charles could freaking see what we have to do, right? We got to get the ball out of his hands. And right now he's the second fastest among all quarterbacks in the NFL. 2.59 seconds per throw, which is just crazy. Only one he's behind is Tua, who's out there in self-preservation mode, which everyone sees that, right? But I mean, the issue is you get all these quick passes. You knew that's what you needed to do against a team like the Jags to kind of utilize against all the blitzing and the kind of pressure they can create. But there's a huge drop off like when you get away from that, right? So he was able to complete through 19 quick passes, complete 12 of them for 92 yards. And then on the other side, he throws more than 2.5 seconds, 7 to 15, 68 yards. So I mean, there's that kind of line of demarcation where that's where we have to move forward to. And the fact that we now beat a middle of the road team like the Jags, and now can we build that stack another week in a row where we beat a team that has nothing to lose? We should just absolutely just blow them out the way we did last time we played. It's not going to be as easy because they have Sweatback and they have some different pieces that have kind of coalesced, but there's such a disadvantage in terms of the talent. We should be able to make that next step so then we can go, like you said, into the Bills game and kind of build on that, beat a team that's an above average team to good team that's had success in the playoffs. Can we? And then you take that, then you go to the kind of the top dog at this point, the final boss of our division with the Colts at this point, and just keep stacking because that's what you want. Like in reality, this beginning of the year has been an absolute dumpster fire, like you've talked about. But if we can get to 500 here and we can then stack a win potentially against the Bills, and even if we play a tight game against the Bills and lose, but then we learn more things about us and we establish identity and we start giving the ball to Woody Marks and all the things, if we can do that and then keep moving forward, we have a real shot to kind of coalesce and we won't have these weird answers by D'Amico out there when they're asking what is your identity on offense, is we move the ball or we get first downs or some shit like he said. We won't have that anymore. We'll actually have something to kind of hang our hat on and say, you know what, CJ, you're coming back in, we're going to tag you back in, and this is what we need you to do. And I think that's very possible to happen in the next couple of weeks, starting with the Tennessee game.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, man, this is a great opportunity. I mean, we are possibly on the verge of going 3-0. You know what I'm saying? The last few weeks, right? You know, when we win this, if we win this game, and then with the Bills win, right? I think we'll be sitting at 3-0, and then I mean, shit, you rip off a Colts win. I think you really kind of, I don't know if we'll be able to. It'll take like a catastrophe from them to fall back to where we can win a division, right? Yeah, I think it's almost mathematically impossible. But at this point, I mean, if we stack these wins, we will be sitting here in a spot where we can solidify ourselves as a legit wild card team. And honestly, at this point, like someone asked me today when I was at the barbershop, what team do I think can win the Super Bowl? And honestly, I'm looking around and I can't really tell you which team in the AFC has, really separated themselves from the rest. It seems like everybody's kind of losing to everybody. There hasn't been like a true runaway number one seed. We thought it was the Colts, and maybe it is the Colts if they can get back on track, but they just lost. They play us next week after this, so I mean in a couple weeks, right? So to me, if still a lot of questions to be answered from them because they have had an easy schedule and they have made the most of it, but at the same time it's like they still have to play the Texans twice, right? And let's say we sweep them or something crazy like that. I just feel like these next couple weeks, are gonna be really telling to like who is this team. There was a lot of questions about the mental toughness of this team, the discipline of this team. I think that these next couple weeks will show you exactly who we are. And I think, like you're saying, man, this game has to be a clean game. I mean, we know that we miss a lot of tackles. You know, I don't think that's winning football. We take a lot of stupid penalties. That's not winning football. Let's play a clean game. You know, let's, the quarterback keep getting the ball out of his hands quick. Let's like you said it perfectly. Give CJ Stroud something to come back to, and rather than like a clear formula for winning for this specific roster and game plan and coaching staff and all that stuff. Like, just at this point, kind of fit yourself into a system rather than make the system fit you. Because this is a Super Bowl caliber defense. You know what I'm saying? So if we are able to just be efficient on offense, average on offense, have a couple field flipping plays, like similar to the old, like the old Giants, right? Are all great defensive teams. I mean, hell, the last time the Patriots won a Super Bowl, it was not pretty. Their offense was not pretty. They made a few big plays every game in the playoffs. At the end of the game, to kind of separate it. Specifically the Super Bowl, and then they were able to kind of etch out a win. And I think that might have to be the formula for us, especially if we can't really be efficient. But I still think that there is still hope that we can have a really good quick passing game with some of the separators we have, like Jalen Noel and Kirk, and obviously Nico Collins. I think we have a solid receiving core, and I think Mills kind of showed that this week.
Yeah, and I think it's a great point. If you kind of want to think of like what the prototype is, what's a team that's actually done this, where they've kind of rallied around a flawed offense and found ways to matriculate the ball down the field and kind of figure shit out. You go back and watch those that Denver Broncos team that finally won against the Panthers in the Super Bowl, right? They had Peyton Manning. That line was broken down, but they just ran the ball like stubbornly as hell. They didn't turn the ball over, and they had two absolute demons on the edge with Ware and Miller, and they just played complementary football across the board. I think the key with that team was they did not miss tackles, they did not have penalties, and they would be just good enough on offense to find the way and wouldn't put their defense in bad situations. Just found the way to kind of hold on to the ball, play a little bit of keep away, like old school when you play like the rec league and you're playing a bunch of all the hold heads. Just kind of four corners that shit a little bit and just find a way to put your defense and allow your defense to be your best weapon. And I think the biggest key to all this tied in, the secondary, the special teams has to become a weapon again. We saw flashes of it early with Jalen Noel. We've got to put him back in situations where he can be a weapon, where he doesn't have confidence. I think there's some mental stuff going on with him not being out there and then him being out there and kind of not knowing what his role is specifically. If anything, I know people were calling for Frank Ross's head halfway through the last game, and I get it. I get the frustration. But like there has to be, if there's one thing I'm going to complain about with him, it's like the clear vision of what we're moving forward and how we're going to use the special teams as a weapon. And we've seen it. We have Autry. He made a dumb mistake in terms of running into the snapper, but he's a weapon. We've got returners that are weapons. And then we got to flip that onto the offensive side of the ball. We've got to use our playmakers in space, and they're starting to see it, and you see it more with Davis Mills because he gives his receivers like Higgins a chance to catch the ball in contested situations. Like, use what you have. Like, there's a point where if CJ can see that happening and he can kind of come in and say, you know what, I can trust these guys to do 50-50 balls, because that's what you brought Higgins in for. That's what Nico's an absolute demon about. You saw him out there make that catch like Andre Johnson used to, where he got whacked over in the slot, I think it was like a skinny post or something. Like, it's all there. There's enough weapons there. We've got a healthy running back that's got some juice now in Woody Marks, and they've kind of inverted the role where then Chubb can be kind of complimentary player, similar to the way Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram used to kind of play off of each other. I think there's opportunities there where as the line gets healthy again, as we're kind of building our identity around it, you can slide CJ in, and he can be even more efficient with how he can use his legs and all the different things. But it all comes down to continuing what we did last week and not making it look like we did before, where we would play great against the Ravens and play great against, I can't remember who that other garbage team that we played was.
The Titans.
Titans, there we go.
And the Niners.
And the Niners, right. All these teams where we just kind of kicked the shit out of because we should have. and then we just kind of lay an egg coming out off a bye week. Like there has to be a continuity, and there's got to be that like kind of nastiness back from that coaching staff, and you got to see it. And you started to see it a little bit in that second half. You saw it after the game with D'Amico, with how he was talking to players. He needs to perpetuate that and keep being kind of having that edge to him, and leading the whole team into that. We know what's going to happen with the defense. It's got to keep going, and I'm excited to see it happen this week against the Titans.
Yeah, so another thing, I'm expecting Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter to have a similar performance. Like I said, this is a game that our strengths have to be. I guess I don't know how to say this. Our strengths have to just be noticed again. Like we shouldn't have like a Trayvon Walker, Josh Allen type game like how they just did against us, where it's like, I mean, honestly, not to harp on this and go back, I thought Trayvon Walker showed a little bit of, he made some plays, I thought, now Mills at the end of the day, he escaped a really like quick win by Trayvon Walker, and then I think he got penalized for a sack, but that's neither here nor there. We're talking Texans. We can't have our strengths kind of go unnoticed. Like our top corner duo has to look like a top corner duo this week. Like you said, our special, like Kaimi Fairboard band. This is something that I know it's kind of happened kind of subtly, right? He hasn't been as tight as he was. Now, I'm not like a super football nerd. Like I don't know exactly like the distance of the kicks he missed versus where he was making them from the year before or whatever. But he hasn't been as 100% as he once was. I think he popped on the injury report a couple weeks ago or something. I don't know if I'm, kind of going blank, but whatever, right? I think like you said though, special teams.
I think he's on the injury report right now, actually.
He is? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, I mean, listen, the special teams has to go back to being what it is. We are not getting, sometimes we get nothing from our offense. We have to make those kicks. We cannot afford to go into Lucas Oil Field against the Colts and fumble a kickoff return on their side of the ball when we're already going to have to stop Jonathan Taylor 25 times. We can't give them short fields. I mean, so this is stuff that, and I can say that for almost any NFL team, especially playoff team. Like, I'm not looking at the playoff picture right now, but I don't want to give any one of these teams the ball on their side of the field and ask our offense, an offense that has struggled all year, to make up for it. I mean, obviously you wouldn't want that if the offense was good, but like you say, this is how we have to win games. And and a lot of the mental mistakes that we were making, we have to kind of graduate from this like kind of elementary mindset of like just being good enough, just going out there and winning in between the whistles is good enough. We have to be great before the ball is snapped. We have to be disciplined before the ball is snapped. And, after the plays, we have to, we can't take any stupid personal fouls or nothing like that. No kind of conduct fouls. Like, you have to play hard in between the whistles and all that stuff, man. Because like at any extra penalty or like you said, even it's something that hasn't really been talked about that much. The missed tackles, any kind of undisciplined action from what should be our strengths, which is the special teams and especially the defense, right? We can't give these teams extra chances, right? So, that's where I'm at right now. And so moving on to the injuries, obviously we know it seems like CJ isn't going to play, barring a miracle. Titus Howard, man. Titus Howard doesn't look like he's going to probably play either, right? I think he's still in protocol, right? Which leads me to this next thing, Trent Brown, man. I thought Trent Brown played, he had, like I said, against Trayvon, he had a couple colossal losses, that were terrible, right? But how do you feel about him going into this game and forward,
man? So this was the interesting thing about this game, right? Like if he had some moments that were just mental mistakes where he was offsides or he was caught leaning forward, but the reality is he played like league average tackle, and that's kind of what we need at this point, right? With Titus out, and I thought I saw that Titus might have, I don't think he's in protocol anymore, but I got to see. It looks like he had full practice. I think that's what I'm seeing here on the list. I pulled it up real quick. It was full practice coming off concussion. The two guys that were out was Petrie and CJ. So I think he may actually be on the way back. But depending on, concussions are weird. If Trent Brown's out there, I think it probably lends towards kind of how we need to attack anyway. Like, we need to be a team that's run first and kind of pass second. And if we're passing the ball, it's going to be quick. I know we did it a bunch. I think the fool's gold situation that we had against the Jags isn't something that we can kind of continue. Or if we do it, we have to be so disciplined around the idea that it's going to be 2.5 seconds and out, and really around 2 seconds and out. Because when you have big guys out there like Ursary, and you have guys like Trent Brown that are massive humans, they're great when they're falling on top of people, but when they're having to move quick on the outside, and then you come around and you say, all right, who are we playing this week against the Titans? We're going to have so much help on the inside. They're going to be out on the islands even more and more in this game. So it's even more of a thing where I know they don't have a ton of corners. They traded away Brownlee. They traded away McCready, and their defense is kind of in disarray at this point. But, man, it's going to be a really good test to kind of see what the plan is for our offensive line, and what can teams, are they going to avoid the second week adjustments that teams make? Because I don't think you can go in this game and say, you know what, we're gonna rotate mid game and take out City Sow. We're gonna move Scruggs over here, and we're gonna plug in a center, and we're gonna start a 3-center lineup on offense against these boys, right? Like, if you try to come out there with Scruggs, Andrews, and Patterson and think you're gonna be able to run the ball consistently, like, it's gonna be tough. So man, I'm excited to see what the plan is. It's gonna be a real big test for Kaylee. And it's going to be good because there should be that room for error for him to try some different stuff and continue to tighten things up. But I'm fascinated to see kind of what they do with that, and also now with Stewart gone, what the plan is with Petrie moving forward, what we do with slot, knowing that we're going to have a safety out and a slot out, kind of injury wise. What does that look like in this game?
Yeah, 100%, man. Listen, it's been real, y'all, man. Thank y'all for pulling up. Uh, we will probably try to do something. I'm gonna definitely take some footage while I'm out in Tennessee at the game and stuff. So, make sure y'all check in. I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna have time to go live or nothing, but we'll talk soon after that, right? So, man, make sure y'all like, share, and sub. We got more stuff coming for y'all, man. Actually, go look at the post at our post on our YouTube channel, man. Let us know what you think about the new logo. You should see it in the upper right hand corner of this. I know that the chat looks a little bit different right now, but we're just kind of going through it, making sure that trying to make sure all this stuff looks better and good. So we'll fix everything, y'all. But make sure y'all like, sub, and share, man. We got more for y'all coming. All right, peace, y'all.